Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Process podcast. And today I have a very special guest, Teri Leigh. Teri Leigh is the founder of the Mindful Sense, that's one word, Mindful Sense Mentor. And she's going to talk about what it's like being born hypersensitive, hyperacusis. In other words, she hears at a very highly sensitive rate. And she's a very intuitive person. So, what is it like being born that way and watching the rest of the world coming into its own? Join me. This will be interesting. So, Teri, welcome. And thank you for joining me on the Empowering Process podcast. I'm so excited. This has become more and more and more of an enlightened conversation with folks. And I am really interested in having a conversation with you because you were born super sensitive. Therefore, I would say super awake compared to the rest of the world. And so that had its own unique struggles growing up. And then, like right now, life must be really interesting for you. It's becoming interesting for me, so I can only imagine. So let's start with growing up. What are some of the sensitivities that you have? Explain it to our audience, and what that means for you in what air quotes normal life is all about.
I never had a normal life. I just read the beginning of Sam Messersmith's Substack today, and she said summer is loud and talking about dogs barking and lawnmowers and and that's my normal life. The world is loud, and it always has been. And I didn't realize how much so until I got into adulthood because I just thought that was normal. But here's a great example of my childhood. I was 10 years old when I needed glasses. And I needed glasses bad. Like I was legally blind without glasses. And my mom took me to an eye doctor to do the typical eye exam. And the first thing that happened is we walk in the building and I cover my ears. I'm like, Mom, that hurts. That hurts. And she's like, What? What? I don't know. And I said, It's a screaming. It's so loud. And it took a while. She finally went to the receptionist and asked, like, is there a noise that children hear? And the receptionist sat back and said, yes, this happens twice a year. It's always a child. It's our security system. I'll go turn it off. And she turned it off and I was fine. But it's like a dog whistle. Like I could hear things that no one else could hear. And so growing up, I didn't know that was not normal, other than when I took the test as a kid in the nurse's office. What can you hear? Do you hear this sound? Do you hear this sound? Waving your hand, wearing the big headset. I didn't stop. Like they tell me to stop raising your hand when you stopped hearing the noise, and I didn't stop. They had to stop it for me. I'm that hypersensitive to sound. And I didn't realize this most of my childhood, but it really troubled me because things like the kid next to me taking a test sniffing it grates my nerves like fingernails down a chalkboard. Or the kid behind me, she had long fingernails and she liked to tap them. Well, I not only heard the sounds, but I feel them. And
Yeah.
that's that sense of synesthesia. It's only been in the last 10 years that I've discovered there's words for these sensitivities. So hypersensitivity to sound is hyperacusis. And I can hear things that no one else hears, and sounds are louder to me. Like I can be in a restaurant and hearing someone's conversation from across the room, as if they're sitting right next to me, kind of sounds. But then I also feel them, and that's the synesthesia where different senses blend within my nervous system. And when I was also around 10, and when I lost my vision, my physical vision, my parents started going to psychic awareness classes, intuitive development programs, third eye stuff because they were curious and they were having their midlife crisis in their 40s. And my dad came home from a psychic development class and said, "Did you know people have these auras? Their colors come." And I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, yours is blue." Like, I didn't know that that was something other people couldn't see. I could see
Right.
it my whole life. And so then from 10 till 20, my dad and I would play with that and I'd exercise the skill and the practice
Awesome.
seeing auras. And I recognized that they changed so much I couldn't describe them fast enough. But what really developed for me was when I started teaching yoga in my late 20s. And actually, when I started taking yoga in my late 20s was when I realized that the words coming out of the teacher's mouth would hit the student. And I could see this in the aura, and I'd see then the student do what the teacher said, and then their auras would change. So then I started to recognize the physicality of the energy and so forth. So that's just become a lifestyle for me. But it's also been like a whole developmental process because when I was a kid, I didn't understand it. I thought everyone was like this, and I had to adjust and accommodate myself over time as I started piece by piece to realize this is not, quote, normal.
So, so I'm almost done writing a book about dragons. And it's a story where someone encounters dragon after dragon after dragon, and they evolve with each experience. And there is one chapter where the dragon talks about, or actually the second chapter where I talk about, we don't hear, we receive vibrations, and our brain interprets that. The same with words, right? Well, because we interpret that. The same with sight, it's frequencies, and we interpret that. So it's the interpretation, right? And so it's based on, I'm going to blow your mind, guys. What blueprint I decided to create when I was in the seventh dimension, when I decided to come here, right? And when I created that blueprint, I said, this is my reality. Like I believe that there is gravity. I believe that there is oxygen. I believe, by the way, that's all illusion. Right. And so you probably said, and I will see the auras and I will, right? It's the choice that you made in coming here, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's a whole other conversation. Get back to you, right? So here you are now in this moment in time and space where people are waking up at an exponential rate. Some so quickly that they're falling apart, and that's where I come in. I help them through the dark night. What are you now observing, right? Because it like I get shivers with what is happening, and my waking. I mean, it is hourly sometimes. Like now that makes sense. Now I see how that works. Holy crap, right? It's like what I've been saying and thought I understood is now coming in. No, you had no clue. This is really what's going on. And folks that I'm working with, some of that information is untethering them. So what are you observing? Because you're seeing, like you can see my aura right now, I'm sure, right?
Mhm.
And my aura changes daily, right?
Milliseconds. It changes
Yeah,
with milliseconds.
right. It's constantly changing because I'm having different experiences all the time, and my energy shifts based on those experiences. And quite frankly, my DNA is changing right now. So that and that's a fact, guys. If your DNA is not changing, believe me, it is. So, what are you observing, and what does that mean or feel for you?
Well, let me preface that by saying I have spent my whole life trying, not trying, working to understand my own sensitivities and how to live with them, how to manage them, how to be comfortable in them,
Yeah.
and then also how to engage with others with them. And I've made a career out of helping people understand their own energies, where people come to me and says, "What color am I?" And I take that to a much more fundamental level. It's not just the colors you're spewing out of yourself right now in this millisecond, but it's the coding that you've had for your entire life and how it's shifting and how you're choosing to shift it and
Right.
how you're allowing the world around you to shift it. And I've been experimenting with that my whole life, both in my own experience, well, not my whole life, but since I discovered these were unique skills. And then some half of my career has been how do I make it okay to live with these sensitivities? And then the second half of my career is how do I use these sensitivities to help others to understand their own sensitivities and their own awareness. And
Yeah.
what I'm seeing right now is since COVID like cracked everyone wide open. First of all, when it hit, I knew everyone's going to have to get this virus. Either it's going to kill them or they're going to stay alive, but no one can avoid it. We can try to have the vaccine, we can try all these other things, but you can try to avoid being around people. But everyone on the planet got it. They just don't know whether they had it based on symptoms. Some people were
Oh,
asymptomatic, but everyone got it, and I could see it in their energetic coding.
I had it in November of 2019.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
had it prior to it
Yeah.
actually hitting,
Yeah.
that people knew it was out there.
I was so sick. Yeah.
And it totally shifted the genetic and energetic coding of every single human on the planet.
And it was intended to do that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And when that shifted, it started changing how everyone's brains worked. And because of the way their brains worked, it changes how they receive data and information through their senses. And senses being the five major senses, but also how those five senses converge into synesthesia, which is really the full perception. Like you said, we hear the vibration. It's not hearing, it's vibrations hitting your ears and your brain processing that information and
Yep.
then telling you what that means. So
Right.
all of that coding and wiring totally shifted with COVID. And since COVID, people are like, I don't know how to function in my new body, even though they
Yeah.
don't know that it's a new body. And
Yes.
so everyone's sensitivity has gone from normal to what I was like as a kid in some way, shape, or form, and they're confused. And so there's a lot of confusion
Yeah.
going on around because they're like, why can't I go back to the way it was?
Well, chaos and confusion is required for alchemization and transformation.
Right.
It's step 6 of alchemy, right? If you want to get, technical. Um, and I explain it like this when I'm working with people. A lot of people, when they work with coaches, will work with the shadow work. And shadow work is when you fall apart, you pick up those pieces and you put them back together stronger. But it's the same pieces,
Right.
but stronger. You're not done.
Well, anytime you glue pieces back together, there are pieces you can't gather because they turn to dust.
Well, the Dark Knight is those pieces shatter, and a
Yeah.
lot of people are like, didn't I already go through this? Right? But now you pick up the pieces you want and maybe grab new pieces and let the pieces that don't serve you truly go away.
They blow away in the wind. Yes.
Truly go away. Yes. Yes. And so why am I not triggered anymore? Because I don't care. That's then. That's not the moment. You learned to live in the moment,
Yeah.
right? That's the only reality, and it is incredibly fleeting, right? And so um, it's really strange because it's the moment is incredibly fleeting, but the energy we create with our words, with our thoughts, with our actions, that wave never stops. It's infinite. And that's why we're here to create new waves that are different from love and joy, right? right?
They're all different expressions of the human condition.
Yes,
And
yes,
so as the chaos or the confusion's going on, I'm just sitting back and saying, this is fun. Like I'm watching all these people evolve into
yeah,
new states and new awarenesses, and they're frustrated and they're hurt. And I get that because I've been there and I have that deep empathy and compassion. But I'm also the person saying, I'm so fucking excited for you.
yes, yes,
Like
yes,
when you
yes,
get
yes,
through
yes,
this,
yes,
and there's no stopping. I can't make it better for you. You just got to plow through ahead and get through it.
right.
And I can see what you're becoming on the other side of it. And that's really what I'm seeing is things have fallen apart and they're all scurrying around gathering up these pieces. And I'm seeing what those pieces are already becoming. And it's fun.
Right. And
It's fun.
it's so amazing, so amazing. Yeah, we do similar work, but from a different perspective. And that's what I love about collaboration and the collective thinking. It's not that we think the same, it's that I honor what you do and you honor what I do, even though our purpose is the same, we have different skill sets,
Yeah.
right? And so someone's going to resonate with you and someone's going to resonate with me, but we're here for the same purpose, and that's beautiful. They're beautiful. The thought of competition. I mean, the people I work with now, if I collaborate with a lot of people, I love working with people, but the moment that I feel that there's a competition, then it's over. The
Right.
collaboration cannot work, right?
Right.
Um, but when it's an experiment of working as a collective, it's beautiful because we grow off of each other. It's the quantum field expansion,
Yeah.
right? Right. So you're having fun.
Well, I'm also having fun because the sensitivities that were so uncomfortable when I was a kid, I've not only figured out how to manage them, but the rest of the world is catching up. So it's easier for me to be in those sensitivities in most cases. Like I still don't like going to a restaurant because the noise. It's just, it's too much, too stimulating. But I feel more comfortable saying, no, I choose not to. And people get it because they're like, oh, yeah, the noise. They get it
Right.
rather than looking at me like, what? It's not noisy.
Oh yeah. So
People
years
relate to you
ago,
better.
2005, actually 2006. Well, no, 2004 I started dancing, but 2005 I started taking it seriously. In 2006 I started competing, which meant I was dancing 5 nights a week, right?
Yeah,
And going to dances, right? Because you want to dance with different people, right? And I would leave quarter past nine, 9:30. They used to call me Cinderella. Why? Because the energy of the people coming in at that time was like a chalkboard on my body.
right.
And I couldn't say, I love you, but I can't stand your energy. But I would just say, it's just time for me to go.
Yeah.
Right. So I totally get. So even then, so we're talking what, 20 years ago, even then I was feeling the energy of other people. I've always gone by my feeling and my gut anyway.
Right.
But certainly not to the extent that you experience. But really, people are starting to tune into that. And
Mhm.
that is where it's like the universe has been trying to talk to you your whole life, and finally you're listening,
Well,
right?
that's the whole world right now.
Right? Right? That's the whole world
And
right now.
sometimes
So,
they don't like what they're hearing. So I'm like, okay, choose a different sound.
right, we are we're the ones in control.
Mhm.
100%. So I mentioned earlier that I'm writing a book about dragons, right? And a dragon came into my life 2014-ish, right? And I'm like, I had a great experience with the dragon that weekend. We went flying, we went dancing, and the dragon every once in a while would be around, but I pretty much ignored the poor thing. And then March of this year, I started running a weekly workshop, and I thought, I'm going to pull dragon cards. And that first workshop, I pulled the dragon card and I got pulled into the dragon's energy. And I did a meditation based on the dragon energy. And I heard, well, it's about time.
I've been waiting for you for a decade.
Yes, yes, yes. Wake up. Right. So, and I think that's hilarious. Um, and so that energy, and call it what you want. The dragons have been in cultures around the world. Someone has been seeing dragons, whether
Yep.
you believe them or not. Angels, dragons, fairies, witches, nymphs, salamanders, and I could go on and on, are all elementals.
Mhm.
Our eyes just don't see what's
Yeah.
in front of us, but I can feel the dragon, like he is here. So I work with a spiritualist. Hey Franco, if you're listening, 222 on my clock. Um, and he asked me, so what's the dragon's name? I said I asked, and the dragon told me that their names don't matter. He goes, oh, okay. And then later on, I said, by the way, my dragon changes sex. Sometimes it's a girl, sometimes it's a boy. It changes why it's here. It changes it morphs. So at the end of our meeting, because we had a lot of things to cover, he said, by the way, names don't matter past the third dimension, right? And sex doesn't exist past the third dimension. So people who say, my so and so, my angel, my dragon, my whatever name is, they're personifying an energy that's not necessarily true.
Right.
Right? It's like God, we personify this energy in order for us to be able to relate to it,
Mhm.
right? And so
That's
those,
the language we need to communicate with it. We have to
right,
speak in our language so that we can relate and understand.
right. And so I feel that the world is getting beyond that,
Mhm.
beyond that. And so it's really kind of exciting. So what do you foresee for yourself as the changes accelerate? They're accelerating.
Well, they are accelerating. And what's happening to me now is I don't care about the future. I am so present in this moment that it's too much fun to think about what was and what will be. That, and here's a good example. Like you asked about my upbringing, but part of my upbringing in my 30s, I was studying with an African shaman. 6 years of deep, intense shaman
Mhm.
work where we worked with a lot of the spiritual beings. They call them contumble. And he handpicked me as someone to go through elder initiation. And I looked at him and I said, Melodoma, I'm 35 years old. I'm not even close to eldership. And he goes, it's not me. They picked you. The spirits, they picked you.
Right,
So I went through the genetic energetic coding to become an elder at 35. Well, now I'm 52 and I'm going through perimenopause. And all the stuff that I went through energetically, emotionally, mentally on the invisible, intangible is now coming physical. And they're all congruently colliding where it's like, oh, now it makes sense. Like all that stuff I got then that I was doing and that I was integrating for the last 15, 17 years is now physical. It's tangible. It's real in my body.
yeah,
And that convergence of all the layers, all the koshas of being, why do I care what's happening next? I'm right here.
right. So
And I'm peaking. My life is peaking because it's happening coincidentally at a time when the world is waking up to stuff that I learned as a child, to stuff I integrated as an elder and at 35, to stuff now my body is saying I can physically embody that. And the world is saying, okay, she's it. She gets it. Okay,
yes,
I'll play with
yes,
that.
yes, and yeah, there's so many thoughts going through my mind. Guys, slow down. Just slow down a little bit. So being in the moment, I'm about ready to go on a road trip, and I mean selling the house, and I have no idea where I'm going to land. I don't care.
Yeah.
right? It's really a quest, spiritual quest that I'm going on. And my son, who is an engineer, is, so where are you heading? I don't know. Well, you need to have a plan. No, I don't. Right? Well, what's going to happen? I don't know.
I'll see when I get there.
Right? And and so finally I said, well, I see maybe like back to the Southwest because I used to live in San Diego, maybe Arizona. He goes, okay, so you have a plan. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Given that, I
Right,
have a starting point. We'll
right,
see what happens after that.
right. And I have no plans to go into there, whatever. Right. Um, I don't know. I know that there are certain spiritual, energetically spiritual spots that I'm drawn to, and I have been. And this year I heard you got to go now, no more delaying. So
Yeah.
I'm selling the house. I mean, goodwill has made out big time, right? And I've sold some stuff, given stuff away. I have a bed now that I will put on marketplace. And that's all that I've got left as far as to get rid of.
Hmm. Fun.
Yes, yes. So, and I'll be in my car, just,
Mhm.
you know, tooling around, and I might end up in a small RV or a tiny house. Who
Right.
knows? Or just renting a room when I need to,
Hmm.
right? That's it. And it doesn't matter because, first of all, guys, how many plans have you made that have not come through? Why? Because the universe laughs at you. You think you're
When you
making a
try to
plan?
make plans.
Yeah. Oh, silly girl. Right? So I don't bother. So I've got suitcases winter, summer in the middle,
Hmm.
right? So I've got clothes for all three seasons. I've got a suitcase. This is my bathroom stuff,
Yep.
right? And then my office.
Yep. Two.
That's it. So I have five suitcases.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a blast.
It's gonna be so I change when I do road trips.
Mhm.
I alchemize when I do road trips. I grow when I do road trips, and I look younger when I'm done. I had someone just the other day go, "Yeah, you are looking younger." Well, I just finished a road trip for 6 weeks. Why? Because there's no stress.
Right.
I do whatever I want to, and I don't plan except bathroom breaks and food. Those two.
Basic needs.
Basically, and gas, at some point it's like I need to gas up. That's it.
Hmm.
That's it. So now living in the moment doesn't have to be that drastic for
Mm-mm.
folks. It's just focusing on what is happening right now.
Hmm. And
It's
it's not that I don't have plans. Like I'm
right,
doing a 10-month program right now. I'm launching
right,
a 9-week program in a month. Those things are still planned, but what actually happens each moment that I'm in them, that's what I'm open to. That's what I'm enjoying.
right, right. It's like so I don't call myself a coach anymore. I actually call myself the alchemist, right? Why? Because well, what process do you use? I have no idea what your needs are. I have no idea what's going to show up when we have a conversation. I will do Akashic Records reading 90% of the time. I have no idea what soul you your original soul is, and I have no idea what stories are going to come up from your past. So I don't know.
We'll find out together. Let's go on an adventure.
Exactly.
Give me your hand. Let's go skip into it.
Right? And and when I have clients who are willing to lean in with me, they alchemize.
Mhm.
They alchemize because they find the moment, right? My favorite analogy is dance is not the steps you take, it's the space between the steps.
Mm. Yeah,
Music is the space between the notes.
right.
So if if I can help someone be in the space between the moments, that's where the magic is.
It's like the thoughts between the words.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And so I always have, what am I trying to achieve on the third dimensional level is to be maybe a better interpreter is a good way of putting it without filtering what I hear,
Hmm.
right? Because I've been filtering, trying to frame so that people understand, and then I realized that that is not serving them. If you don't understand the words and the language I'm using, then you're not ready for me.
Right.
And that's okay, you will be, just not today.
Good.
Just not today, right? So so if someone wanted to get in touch with you, by the way, we met on Substack. I am still a Substack virgin. I have so much to learn about it, but I'm trying to untangle myself from the other social media strangleholds that have me because they do suck the energy and the time.
Mhm.
Um, but we met on Substack, which I think is adorable, absolutely adorable. So talk a little bit about what you do on Substack and how people can get in touch with you. And the link will be in the notes, guys. So it's okay.
So Substack is to me a magical place. As soon as I joined Substack, all my other connections to other social medias sort of withered and flew away. I had no desire to be on any of them anymore.
It's
Um,
horrible. They're noisy.
they're noisy, they're loud, they're intrusive, they're vampirish. But Substack, because it doesn't have ads, at least right now, it doesn't have ads, and it's a place for writers. It started for writers. And that was just like, oh, this is home. So, and the thing about Substack is it is a social media. So there's a wall, just like Facebook, where you can post your little thoughts and your ideas and mini video snippets and pictures like Instagram and so forth. But it's also a newsletter letter or a place to send out emails to your community. So it's like your MailChimp or your
Mhm.
Constant Contact. But it's also your blog, like where you can have your writings on a platform. And all those combined into one that's focused on writers that has absolutely no ads is just a heaven place for me. So,
It's fantastic. And I will tell you, I started putting my podcast there.
yep, it's your podcast, it's your
And
live
yeah,
videos, it's all of that.
It's
Yeah,
everything that you need, you know, and you can have paid subscriptions and you can tier your subscriptions, right?
yeah,
Which I haven't done yet, but that's fine. I'm just loving the fact that on Substack, it's already on page one when you key in my name. Substack
right,
is already there,
right.
right? Because there's no other noise behind it.
It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. So when I joined, it was instant home. So I started there December 2023, and by January 2025, it's my full-time job. And my full-time job has always been seeing clients and working with people one-on-one and teaching classes and so forth. I now have 5 different publications on Substack. So I write, the main one is called MindfulSense Mentor, where I talk about exactly this stuff, my ability
Right.
to see, my ability to hear, my sensitivity to the world, and how I work with clients and how people are opening up to this sensitivity world and how they manage those sensitivities and so forth. So that's the Mindful Sense Mentor. Then I started 2 others just for fun. So I run The Hobbit and the Owl with my husband, and we co-author that. Every week we write about being in relationship as second time around because we both went through nasty divorces and found each other in our 40s. And it's this goofy, playful, fun way to express being in partnership. And that's a tiny little publication, but we have a blast. And then I also write the words are spells because I'm a linguist, I'm a poet, I'm a creative writer, and I love the energy that sounds convey. So I'm working my way through the alphabet, letter by letter, writing a post each about every letter saying, this is the energy of the letter. When this sound hits your nervous system, this is what it does for you. And this is how it means on an energetic level and the alchemy of sound in that sense. So I do words, I do letters, I do phrases like yes, thank you, what that does as a spell in your world.
Mhm. And it
And again,
is a spell.
it is. And how you phrase everything matters. So that's that publication. And it's really just to ease my playful mind. And I don't care if anyone subscribes to it at all, or if, and I don't get paid there at all. It's just for fun. But then I started two others that are business ventures. And so I run the Creator Retreat is a 10-month program for Substackers who are creators who want to put their writing, their work, their creations out there in Substack world and do so with an authentic space that feels like it's in alignment with their integrity. So it's going against all the typical marketing rules of get a zillion subscribers and put a whole bunch of posts out there and blah 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 blah. We throw all that away and
Nope.
we look at authenticity, we look at being your true self, and we approach it from a spiritual inner work. If you're not in line with your own integrity, then you're not going to come off as in line. So, how do you get yourself in line with your own integrity first? And then, what are the business practical things you do on Substack to grow your Substack? That's against all the Substack growth hackers out there. And I do this in a very small group. So, there's 10 people in that program that are 10 months with me and it's deep and it's internal and it's cohort and it's a family of love and they're going through their dark nights, they're having their breakthroughs, they're working through their issues and they're supporting each other along the way and they're growing, their substacks are growing and they're building a community for themselves in their own space.
You know that the so I want to touch a little bit about authenticity and really being authentic to your higher self and in alignment with that. Um, when I started doing the dragon meditations, like after the meditation, and this happens almost every week, I think, well, that was lame, right? And I hear, holy crap, Gail, this is what just happened to me, right? And so I put out whatever, right? And because well, whatever, the because doesn't matter. I think, well, I don't know if that was good enough. I hear people going, Gail, I'm not going to be able to make your meeting. Will you record the meditation because I don't want to miss it?
Yeah.
Right? And I have no idea what I'm going to say,
Yeah.
right? You know, it's what's the conversation that's going on in the group. I'll write a word or two that resonates with the dragon. And then sometimes this is my favorite thing to do, but I don't do it all the time. When the dragon comes, I have you hold the dragon's face and look into the dragon's eyes. Connect before we do anything. Or I'll have you pet the dragon. Or sometimes we get on the dragon and go
Yeah.
for a ride, right? Um, and we go someplace not of this world. If we're getting on the dragon, we're leaving the earth, right? Um, and it's so that that energy, that experience touches you before I say anything about why the dragon is here. You already know why the dragon is here for you. And I try to make it generic enough that it's your story that comes through, not mine,
Mhm.
right? Because it's not about me.
Right.
And it's not about the dragon. Actually, the dragon is just a vessel for that energy to come through that you need to hear or feel or a question that you need answered. Um, one woman one time, she's like, we went. I think we went to the ninth dimension and talked to the elders. And yeah, I got on the dragon, and I don't remember anything until you had us get off. And then one of the women was talking about what it felt like being in the saddle. And the one that said, "Oh, I don't remember anything," she goes, "Oh, yeah, right." And then another one talked about there was a sword and a shield, right? She's like, "Yeah, when I like," so you may not consciously remember it, but your subconscious heard it, right? So and so it's a beautiful thing. So be in alignment with who you are. You'll
Mhm.
find your tribe, or your tribe will find you,
Right.
right? And it's a beautiful thing when you do that. It's
Right.
absolutely gorgeous. So, guys, absolutely hop on Substack. Give Teri a shot. I love, like, I'll read her snippets when I'm out there. I'm not out there as frequently as I plan to be, as I disengage myself from other social media commitments, right? And that is a pull. That is a problem because a very big group that I'm involved with is very heavily engaged.
Right.
And it's not up to me to move them,
Right.
so we'll see how long I stay engaged there because I still feel the energy. It's not
Yeah.
right. It's not right. So go where it flows. And Teri, thank you so much for your time. This has been
Thank you.
beautiful. And everybody, thank you for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. If this resonated with you, give us a thumbs up so that we know. If you have a question, there are comments. Put questions in the comments. If you know someone who would love to hear this, share it out with them. And as always, subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode. Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Empowering Process podcast. Be sure to visit Gail at gailcraft.com to learn more about how she serves thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and goal seekers. And remember, if you like this broadcast, be sure to share and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.